What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I've got for you a brand new subreddit, r/StoriesAboutKevin. Now what exactly is a Kevin, I hear you ask? Well, it's someone that is very dumb, let me just say that. Not just academically, but also, you know, they just have no common sense in real life as well. Let me jump straight into the first story though, guys, and that should explain what a Kevin really is. Kevin scores a 0 twice on the same test. I teach at the college level. Years back, I taught a freshman/sophomore class that met every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. One Wednesday, I gave a chapter exam. It was easy. I had a word bank of 25 terms and concepts at the top of the test, and the 20 questions of the exam were different definitions or descriptions of those terms. All the students had to do was match the corresponding term from the word bank to its definition or description, with 5 unused terms left over in the word bank. All the correct answers were right there. That Wednesday, almost half of my class was missing. There was a university function going on, and no one thought to mention it to me. This was before emails were prevalent. But I gave the test anyway, and Kevin was there and took the test. He answered all 20 and got them all wrong, a 0. That Friday, I told the whole class that those who took the test on Wednesday did not have to show up for class on Monday. Those who missed the test because of the school function were to show up and take the test on Monday. As I let class out, I called Kevin over to me and told him that, as far as I was concerned, he wasn't even there Wednesday. He was to show up and take the test on Monday. He looked at me for a second and said, "Huh? Oh, thank you, Mr. Deacon." I didn't even bother making a new version of the test. It was just the leftover copies of the original test. Kevin took the test on Monday. Again, he answered all 20, and again, he got all 20 wrong, and he answered all but maybe 2 or 3 of them differently. When I handed them back out, I gave him both of his. At the end of the semester, Kevin tried to bribe me with $100 to give him an A in the class. Well, Kevin, at least you tried to get an A, illegally, but you tried anyway. Guys, I just don't know how you can do a test once, get a 0, that's bad enough, and then do it again and get a 0 when the questions are exactly the same. How is that possible? Guys, hopefully you now know a bit more about what this subreddit is like and what a Kevin truly is, because the person in this story, yes, that was a Kevin 100%, unlike his test score. Now for our next story. Kevin thinks that the Bahamas are a US state. Let me pretext this by saying that I always thought that nobody was dumb and everyone deserved a chance at higher education. Kevin is the first and only guy I met that has made me think that, well, maybe college just isn't for everyone. I'm in my final year of my undergrad, just going through the motions until I graduate. I'm in a purely online program at a major university, but I have classmates that also meet in person for school. At the start of a semester, it's pretty common in online classes to get emails from classmates asking to form a group. I usually don't join these myself because they quickly become a hub for cheating, and I just don't want to take a chance of expulsion, but I decided to give it another go. I joined the group for my state and local government class. This is important for the story, and everything is fine. People are getting along. That is until the first quiz. Our quizzes are 50 questions long, a fact that some complain about, but they are overall not that hard. But then you have Kevin. The quizzes were multiple choice, so we got our grades immediately, and all of us are sharing our grades with each other. Then Kevin chimes in. "I got a 10 out of 100. Another group member says, "Wait, how?" "I couldn't find the answers." "What do you mean?" I say. "I mean, I couldn't find them online anywhere." "The answers are in the text. Why would you go online?" "Well, usually when I do quizzes, I search for the question and Quizlet has the answers." Quizlet, for those that don't know, is an online study tool that is frequently abused and is an ever-growing problem. To combat this, our professor specifically stated in an email to us that he changes the format and wording of the quizzes each semester in order to combat cheating. I explained this to Kevin. "Well, that's stupid." Nobody responds, and the group is quiet until the first essay is due. I thought that maybe the issue with Kevin was a one-off, but nope. When we got back the grade for the essay, the group again was chatting away about grades, and in rolls Kevin. In these essays, we're asked to compare the different aspects of 2 different state governments. Kevin says, "I got a 30 out of 100. "Oh, literally, how?" "It's not my fault. The professor said in his comments that one of my states wasn't a state. I already emailed him about it." At this point, I'm thinking that a political science professor would clearly know what is and isn't a state. So I asked Kevin what state he chose. Florida and the Bahamas. Are you joking? Another group member just says, no, I'm not joking. The Bahamas are a foreign country, not a US state. Yes, it is. I go there for vacation with my family all the time. Apparently, the only qualification for a state to Kevin is that he has visited it. No, they aren't. Yeah, they are. The professor already emailed me saying he made a mistake. All of us, clearly knowing that he's lying about that, just don't respond. And the group is quiet again. Kevin doesn't chime in for the next few quizzes or essays, so we thought he might have dropped the class. But nope. He chimes in randomly one day during the week and asks if he can borrow someone's essay to get pointers. I don't pay any attention to it, but one person who finished theirs chimes in to help him out. Later on, we're getting our quiz grades in and people are talking about them again. Then Kevin chimes in. I got a 20 out of 100. Bruh. I thought maybe that this time the answers would be online. Wait, have you been trying this every week? Yeah? And are the answers ever online? No, but they have to be on there at some point. I just exit out of the app at that point because of the sheer stupidity. Then essay grades roll around, and this is magical. We're all comparing grades and giving tips on how to improve our writing. Then Kevin comes into the convo and he is fuming. I got a 0. What the F? And the professor said I was going to be cited for academic dishonesty. The group member from before says, don't tell me you tried turning in my paper. Yeah, I did. You wrote that for me, right? No, I didn't. That was my paper. You only said you wanted it for help? You told me I could have it. I never said that. This went on for a while and ended when Kevin asked if they knew anybody on campus that could write essays for him. The creator of the group promptly shut down the group out of fear of being accused of supporting cheating. We were all later invited back to a new group, this time without Kevin. Yo, I know there's a bad stereotype about Americans and geography in general, but surely the majority of Americans know that the Bahamas, that country, is not a US state. I mean, is it even close to America? I don't even think it is that close, right? It's like, is it in the Caribbean, which is below America, Anyway, doesn't really matter. I don't know if Kevin's just exist in school these days or in college. I mean, that seems to be the case with these first two stories, but nonetheless, Kevin, if you're going to cheat in the first place and get an essay off someone else, don't copy it word for word. Don't just hand it in straight away. Maybe take a few pointers here and there, but don't just try and hand in the exact same piece of work that guy has handed in. You're obviously going to get caught up on that. Like, what are you doing? Oh, Kevin, why, man? Why? Now for our next story. A little bit different now. Kevin finds beer. Years ago, when I was but a wee teen, my friends and I walked a few blocks to a local taco truck to get some food. This particular truck was right off a local highway frequented by truckers shipping goods all around the country. On the walk home, we all see a water bottle filled with a mysterious brown liquid. Friend 1 and 2 walk past the bottle saying nothing about it, they just keep eating their tacos. Kevin, in front of me, and another friend suddenly yells, "Hey guys, look what I found!" Kevin picked up the bottle with a mischievous look on his face. My immediate thought is he's going to do something awful like throw the bottle at one of us or a car. I barely get the words, "Kevin, what are you doing?" out before he brings the bottle to his face and unscrews the cap. "Oh my god, it's pee!" he screams, horrified. He then spikes the bottle to the ground and liquid splashes everywhere. He begins to run. Moments later, the most noxious smell I've ever smelled hits my nose. This wasn't a simple porta potty in the summer smell, no. This was the urine of a trucker whose diet consists of Mountain Dew, junk food, and not nearly enough water. This urine had fermented in the July sun for untold days until it obtained a rich hickory colour. This urine was now assaulting my nose with a hatred I thought was reserved for demons and other malevolent entities. I joined Kevin in fleeing from the noxious smell. We get about 50 feet away from the disaster and stop to regain our composure. Out of nowhere, I vomit. The sight of this causes a friend to vomit. This causes another friend to vomit, which then causes me to vomit again. Then about halfway between the bottle and ourselves is our fat friend, who never ran, standing there idly eating his tacos. I ask how he could possibly continue to eat after all that. He just kind of shrugs and takes another bite. We all laugh, and then someone finally asks Kevin, why in the world did you open that bottle? He replies sheepishly, I thought it was beer. Why would anyone put beer in a water bottle and leave it on the road? Also, beer is not that colour. I mean, to be fair to Kevin, the colour of pee is not too dissimilar to the colour of beer, is it? They're both kind of yellowy, so it's not the weirdest remark I've ever heard, but no one would ever in their right mind leave a beer just randomly on the sidewalk, I don't think, or just in some sort of garage wherever they were, especially if it was full. That just wouldn't really tend to happen. So I guess picking it up is weird enough. I don't know why you would do that, unless literally the lid was on and it was, fixed on. You'd have to use a bottle opener to open it, and you could see that. Then don't touch that beer, dude, because it might just not be one. Now moving on to our final story about Kevin. Kevina, I imagine that might be a female Kevin, fries up household objects for midnight snacks. Throughout the years, my mother has repeatedly turned on the wrong burner on every electric stove we've ever owned. Now, usually, this results in her wondering why food isn't cooking and then realizing a moment later. However, I've lived on my own in the same small apartments for 8 years, and she's gone into the unfortunate habit of putting things on the stove when she runs out of counter space. One of my cutting boards has 2 separate imprints of a burner on it. Partly thanks to her, I now have a rule that nothing goes on the stove unless it's for cooking. She doesn't seem to have learned the lesson though. Last night at 2:30 AM, I woke up to the burning smell of plastic and a smoke alarm. After I opened the window and turned it off, I went to investigate. It turns out my mum had been making a midnight snack and had accidentally turned 2 separate burners on and had the bright idea of putting her laptop on the stove so she could continue watching Netflix on it. She says she started noticing the burning smell and didn't realize what was happening until her laptop shut down. The terrifying thing was that it didn't power down. She brought me her computer with most of the back completely melted and the fan was going insane. I couldn't even pull the battery immediately because the plastic around the switches was melted, so I just held the power button. It's a cheap Elite book from around 2014, and normally you can just slide the back off, but part of it is so melted that I had to rip the other pieces off around it. Surprisingly, the internals actually seem to be fine, certainly the hard drive at least, so I can get her files back if nothing else. She's probably gonna try using it later, and I'm mildly afraid. Not gonna lie, when I first read the title of this, I genuinely thought that this Kevin, or Kevina, maybe that's the word for female Kevin, was frying up plastic and stuff to eat during the night, not just doing it accidentally. I kind of misinterpreted that one. Let me know if you also did as well. But nonetheless, why would you ever put your laptop on the stove? Surely you just put it, next to you on the counter or something. On the stove is so risky, especially as you have a history of burning up things that aren't meant to be burned. Just weird. I also love that the laptop is still working. I just know, right, that this woman is going to do the exact same thing in the future, and gradually she's just going to melt away more and more of our laptop until there's barely anything left. But that's the fun of cooking with this person, I guess. Weird one. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/StoriesAboutKevin. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I've been wanting to do some different subreddits recently, and I came across this one, and I thought, it might be fun. So, yeah, let me know if you did like it by dropping a like on the video and commenting that it was good down below. Also, I want to hear your thoughts on new subreddits for me to cover. If there are any that are your favorite and you want to see me make a video on them, let me know down below once again. And with that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow for a brand new video.